What's up, everyone? I'm filming a quick video here, quick update. I'm just on my phone right now. Sorry if the quality's pretty poor. I just want to keep everyone up to date right now with what's going on with the truck because I haven't been posting too much. But there's big things coming right now. First things first, my steering is absolutely trashed. I have a lot of play in the steering wheel. My steering shaft is rubbing against the chassis right now, so I have RC Fabrication making me new heimed steering tie rods. So steering tie rods, and they're going to be double sheared on the spindle, so it's going to be beefed up, and that's going to be connected to a Tundra steering rack. So I'm putting the new Tundra steering rack in here. Basic Biker on Instagram is his username. He's going to be making it for me, and he's also making me a new steering shaft that's kind of slimmer. It doesn't have that little crumple coil that's meant to be on the shaft when you crash. It crumples. I'm not going to have that anymore. It's going to be a straight steering shaft. A little more dangerous, but it's not going to rub against the chassis anymore, and it's going to be stronger too. So I'm pretty much doing that with the steering. I'm going to be plating the front portion of the chassis here, right there, to beef it up as well. Putting new Willwood brakes in the front here, and that should wrap up the front pretty much. I am caging this truck, so I'm going to put a cross tower going from the shock tower to the other shock tower to kind of beef up and have more supports for the shock towers, and that's going to link into the cage. And then my bed cage is actually going to be welded to my chassis, so the cage is going to come out of here, go to here, and then this from the side here is going to be welded below to this portion of the chassis right here. And a little sand right there. I swear I just cleaned this truck. But yeah, so this is going to be beefed up pretty much. The bolt-in bed cage is honestly great, but it's not great for what I'm doing. I'm off-roading very aggressively, and honestly my bed bolts are starting to seize, and I have to use anti-seize and take them out, retorque them, and it's just a lot of troubles for me. So I'm just going to weld it to the chassis, old school. So it's going to be a lot stronger. Not sure how I'm going to work that with the bed. I don't think I'm going to be able to take the bed off, so that's going to be a project of its own, but kind of full send one way at this point. And then of course the rear end's coming soon, just saving up for it because it's quite pricey and quite complicated. I'm putting a full floater rear end on here. Actually, I need y'all's help if y'all know how to set the rear ABS wire somehow to tap it into the front, because surprisingly the rear ABS sensor is connected to the four-wheel drive sensor on this truck. So I remember when I ripped my cord, my four-wheel drive wasn't engaging, and that was my ABS cord, so it was really strange. But both of them are linked together, and I have to figure out a way to kind of tap it into the front. That way my four-wheel drive engages when I have the new rear end, and my speed sensor works, so I can see how fast I'm going. So that's a project of its own. Other than that, full floater. It's going to have a Detroit locker. It's going to have a Evan Weller Racing third member, 529 gear ratios. I believe it's going to be a 9-inch ring gear. And I'm trying to think what else on that rear end. Willwoods, yada yada. It's going to be fully trussed. All that good stuff. More to it, but yeah. So that's another project of its own. New drive shaft. So starting to really empty out my wallet, and it's honestly frustrating, but I just love this truck. I love how it performs off-road, and I want it to perform better and better. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. When I cage it, I'm gonna have some PRP race seats in here. I'm gonna sit in when I'm getting a cage so they can fit it to me, because I'm a taller guy. I'm 6'3", so it's gonna be kind of tight in there with a cage. So he's gonna kind of customize the top of the cage around where my head is, and then it should fit perfectly. And then other than that, there's not really any mods. Right now I'm 488 gear, so when I switch to 529 with the locker, I'm gonna see how that performs off-road. I think that's gonna perform a lot better than having 488s with an open diff, because right now I'm having a lot of trouble getting traction. My OEM locker does not work. It's a problem I'm dealing with right now. So with the 529 gears and the Detroit locker, I think I'm gonna have the traction that I want. I have no idea how it's going to be, so I have to go out there and experience it before I start messing with the engine and stuff, because right now I have zero problems, and the engine swap's honestly more of a headache than I imagined. I'm looking into it. It is a project of its own. Will I do it one day? Yes, but I want to see first how the 529 with the locker is going to perform off-road. There's a bunch of guys that I go pre-running with just saying, oh, just get a locker, just get a locker. You need the traction, and you don't have the traction. That's what's going to make this truck go. So it's true, traction's everything off-road, so I'm going to see how it performs with the gears and the locker, and hopefully I'll be satisfied. If I'm not, engine's the next move, but that's something I have to get taken care of anyways, so I'm just going to see how it drives. I'm hoping to have all of this done in 9 months, because that's when I'm getting the roll cage. Roll cage is going to be the last step, because I want to have the rear end in and everything done in the front as far as the steering goes before I start to cage it. So once I cage it, there's no going back, so I want to make sure everything is 100% set. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I took the bed off completely, kind of do an analyzation of the rear chassis. I have no bends, no cracks, nothing wrong. Built by Bruno, completely killed this build. Everything is perfectly fine, so I'm really happy about that, especially with 2 years of just absolutely insane off-roading. He really killed it. I thought something was going to be cracked or bent. Everything's perfectly straight when I took the bed off, so that's a win-win. Shout out to Dirt King too for making such a sick kit that really functions. If you are going spring under, make sure you box the rear chassis with the rear frame plate kit that they have. That's a must. And make sure you link your hangers, your leaf spring hangers, together with a crossbar that connects the chassis to the other side of the chassis. A little tip here. That pretty much kept everything nice and tight and square. So no issues there. Other than that, the truck runs perfectly fine for the type of off-roading I do. It blows my mind. I keep thinking every time I go out that I'm breaking this thing or it's never going to run again. And then I come back home and it starts up and everything's fine. It's crazy. That's Toyota for you. But yeah, it's just a quick update. So yeah, if you don't see me posting that much, a lot of old clips right now, it's because I'm just constantly working on this thing. I want to get it better and better. And this just, you know, it just takes time. No matter how much money you have with pre-runner stuff, it just takes time because you have to order everything, wait for them to build it, and you got to install it. It's a waiting game. So that's just one thing you have to understand when you get into the pre-running world, or even honestly any automotive like hobby, like racing, drag racing, you know, track racing. Everything takes time. It's not just about money. It's the journey that you put into it. But yeah, other than that, very happy. Truck looks great. Last thing before I end the video, I'm gonna repaint the rear fiberglass fenders. I was gonna do a Line-X right here, but I can't figure out a pattern that would look cool with this fiberglass shape that I have going on right now. So I think I'm just gonna do a PPF. I'm honestly probably just gonna PPF this whole rear fiberglass. I'm gonna do like a 25 mil. I'm not an expert with glass. I mean, with wraps, so I probably said that wrong, but somebody told me something about like a 25 millimeter 3M PPF, so I'm probably going to do that. It's like the thickest PPF you can get, because obviously I have rocks flying against here. And when I do that, I'm also going to try to kind of weld some sort of a piece of metal to come out here. It's going to look like shit, but I don't really care. It's going to come out here and kind of protect all the rocks flinging to the fiberglass in the back, because I do not like how this looks at all. It shows up in the pictures and the videos. You know, it's part of pre-running, but it is preventable. So I'm gonna put like my own customizable mud flap right there, a pretty aggressive one, to kind of stop that from happening, because this is honestly, this little scoop right here is one of my favorite parts of the truck, and right now it looks absolutely terrible. So I want to address that, and that's the route that I'm gonna go. Let me turn off my lights in here. I don't know why they're on right now. What in the world? Maybe I'm just standing near my truck. It's sensing that I'm near, so that's why the lights are on. All right, that's a wrap. Very quick video. Dang, those are really bright. My camera's freaking out. And yeah, thanks for tuning in to Dune Serpents.